All right, great. Everyone's on. That's great. Now, I wanted to say this first. Welcome. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to this video. Now, this video is actually pretty interesting because it's really all about communicating with your spirit guides. Either it be demonic, either it be an angel, or even you're really into the paranormal like I am, you want to actually find out your ancestry, or even those who previously lived in your household, or even a person across the street, you could do just that. But with these lines of, or should I say, not these lines, but these forms of communication, like for example, I have this tarot card deck. I showed this in my previous video, but it's a really, really good deck because it helps you to appreciate on a nice traditional classical way on how the tarot card deck works, and it follows the same format as what you originally think of the tarot card decks. It's just that the pictures of it is just more suited towards someone like myself that's a little bit more on the dark side. Like for example, we have the World card. The World card is actually pretty fantastic looking. It's really nice. It's a woman that's holding her head, and it's actually really good. But her back is turned. I mean, if you just remember the box cover that I just showed you, you can look it up at Amazon. You can get your copy. It's actually really good, and you could use that tarot card deck if you like. It's good. Like I said, it works for me. Now, an other deck that I use, it's a Oracle deck. Now, this Oracle deck is actually really nice. It's called the Dark Mirror deck. This Dark Mirror deck is exactly what it implies. Because with this Dark Mirror deck, you have to realize I like to forewarn people before I give a reading with these cards. Because these cards in particular, it's like shadow work. And it is shadow work because people shy away from these cards because it's almost as if they have nothing nice to say. It's mainly negative, and I've even read the reviews about it, but I picked it up anyway due to the comments because people were just shying away from it left and right. But they're actually integral for your growth. And the reason being is that if you're like myself and you recognize the darker side of things, you realize that you need to have the darkness as well as the light. And I'll get into that a little later on. But for right now, you do know that as you look at a deck like this and see how advantageous it is in getting it, because, well, who doesn't want to grow? Who doesn't want to look at their darker side, their nature, and try to adjust themselves? And that's something that's very, very important about that deck. But like I said, try to have the person to appreciate firsthand, first and foremost, what they're about to actually hear and see when it comes to that particular deck, because that deck, like I said, can make people run away because of the fact that it can be way too dark for people, and I'm used to it because being a practitioner, someone who works with the Goetia, not a lot of people would take too kindly with working with the Goetia because they do, well, shadow work, well, on you, and that simply means that they're helping you, but a lot of people cannot take that particular darkness, so they end up just running away from it. So be careful. Now, with this next Oracle deck, I like this deck. It was given to me, believe it or not, before I even got into tarot card readings. I personally feel that, being the fact that they're goddesses cards, these cards were given to me by a coworker, and I also have these cards in safekeeping, like any other deck that I have. And now the reason why I say that is because it's in safekeeping because I appreciate these decks, or the deck of cards that's in it. Excuse me. It's just the fact that when the coworker has given this to me, they just automatically resonated with me, and I use them because they really do work. And what I mean by that is that these are actually from the Goddess and the Guidance Oracle card deck. They're actually really, really nice. I'm pretty sure you can see it there in that angle. They're really nice. They're actually from the famous Doreen Virtue. We know a lot about her for those who are actually into the occult. But I still use them, and they're actually really, really good. And they help people, And when I do my tarot card readings, I never had a problem with them. When I combine them with my tarot card decks or even with the dark mirror deck, a lot of people they come back satisfied. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but individuals really do love my tarot card readings. And like I said on this channel, I don't mind giving you a free tarot card reading, but of course it's free for the first 10, and after that it's just like, hey, look, you gotta pay up because it's not easy doing this. But as of yet, not a lot of people have actually contacted me, so it's free up until this moment in time. But I do recommend those who are actually into oracle cards and they want to again contact their spirit guides, and they want to get a more, I guess, softer message. You could use the oracle cards because they are actually fantastic. They're really good and they're on point. Now, my last communication is, yes, the Ouija board. A lot of persons don't want to do this is because there's been movies about them and things of this nature. You have the device that you could basically go around and use, but it's actually a really, really, really good product just in case that you want to communicate with just about anyone or anything. But of course, you want to be safe as you do these things so that you don't invite nasties into your living space. But you have to make sure that you know what spells or rituals or even special herbs like dragon sage or whatever that could cleanse. You need that within your communication, especially if you're not familiar. But of course, I'm not saying for all those who are not experienced not to educate yourself. Do that first, then you can end up using something like a Ouija board because it takes practice. You don't just buy a Ouija board and then it just ends up being like, just finesse. It's not finesse once you just pick it up, unless you have a knack for it. And the reason why I say that is because when I picked up my tarot card deck, I had a huge knack for it. The minute I picked it up, and again, I'm not being cocky, when I did my first tarot card reading, I was 100% accurate. And every other tarot card reading was 100% accurate, even on myself. So I came to realize, like, the reason for that, it has to be because Satan actually guided me in the path of actually learning what the tarot card deck is, and it works out for me. And because it's a gift from him, so really I tend to put all praise and all thanks to him and not myself because it's a gift, and you have those who feel that anyone could learn tarot card readings, and that's just a bunch of BS, because let the pressure be put on you and we'll see at that moment if it's really just baloney or not, because if it's fake, it's fake. But with myself, when I did it in front of multiple people, I always had really good results because of what I do, and I have results. I can't help it. If I have results, I'm gonna talk about the results. That is pretty much it when it comes to the props that I have as far as the line of communication with the demons, but demons, angels, goddesses, or whatever. But I tend to realize that no matter what path you're in, if your perception of that particular being that you're working with helps you and it works for you, do it. I mean, this video is actually a lot more lighter than what I'm usually actually doing because I like to separate what I do. And what I mean is, I love the cult. I really, really do have a passion of it. I don't mind learning about the law of attraction. I don't mind learning about the new age stuff. I just love what I do. I love the occult. So in this particular channel, it's going to be more lighter. Every now and then you probably hear me say something that's a bit dark, but bear with me. It's only because that's just who and what I am. But it's really up to you, friends, on how you're going to communicate with that particular spirit guide of yours. Because with the new age, you have to realize that Once you get to know who your guardian angel is, your spirit guide, your animal, excuse me, your sacred animal, your totem that you work with, it's going to basically benefit you in the long run. And it's really how you communicate with them, either be lucid dreams or whatever have you. But regardless of what path you take, do know that as you look at this video is here only as a guide to help you to appreciate there's many forms of communication. Hence, I showed the Ouija board, I showed the oracle cards, I showed the tarot cards. There's other ways of how you could communicate. But of course, the best way you can communicate is by, well, simply um, having that spirit guide in mind within your mind, and then focusing on them and then speaking with them in your mind. I mean, at that point, you're going to get yourself a sign. You're going to get yourself a synchronicity, something that's going to help you to appreciate that the universe itself actually have listened to you. I mean, the message could be anything about self-love, self-care, and whatever have you, and you're going to benefit that way. I promise you. But it takes time. It takes practice. That's why I said before, open up your chakras. Do that and see what works out for you. And before I end this video, I thought that it would be very reasonable if I could actually say this point. Friends, try to keep in mind, and I mean this, try to keep in mind that being the fact that I'm more on a darker side, do not go too dark and do not go too light. And what that means is that if you're going too light, then you're obviously going to be that individual that you're going to allow that knowledge and what you've learned, that divinity, get to your head. And then you end up condescending because you feel you know so much. So now everyone must be saved and only you holds that knowledge. And even that way of thinking could be very detrimental for someone who's may not be on the same par as you spiritually, and you're gonna just talk down to them. That's not cool, right? So it's like it works out best if you balance yourself out. Now, on that same topic of balance, let's go to the other side, and the other side would be dark. You don't want to go too dark, where the darkness itself, it keeps you down. Because once you get dark to a point where you allow a negativity to keep you down to the ground, and you're not able to get up and to move on and to live your life the way you should, then that's a problem. Because you get too dark where you end up doing things that is not good, and those type of people you see on television, and that's not the right way to do things. It's just not. And I say that because from my experience, because this is a lighter video, I'm gonna also use the terminology spirit guide. So my spirit guide helped me to appreciate, like, that's not within reason. What you want to do is that you want to make a balance. I mean, even for myself, spirit guide helped me to appreciate that I must actually balance out myself. Don't be too full of myself. That's when you're too much of the divine. Excuse me. I just recently drank something, but kind of caught up with me. But you don't want to be too much on the light side because it gets to your head, or you don't want to be too much on the dark side because it just keeps you down, and that's not good. And I know I'm repeating myself because repetition is always a good thing, and it really makes it stick, so that you could actually learn the right way and how you're able to do things. Okay, so with that said and done, try to make that a practice, because if you're balanced and you have a little bit of both, like for example, I have Gabriel as a guardian angel, and I also have Satan himself as a guardian daemon, and it works out for me. It works for me, and that's how I perceive the world, because I don't believe in the idea that if you're too dark and you end up doing something that's really ostracized to a point where there is no return, and I mean you're doing harm, right? And that's where I draw the line. Once people start sacrificing babies, blood magic, then I'm out of here. I'm going to tell the police, because that's not cool, and I mean that. That's not cool, because I'm not down for that shit. Other people may be, but that's me. They're giving what I do a very bad name. Just like if someone is on a lighter path in the sense of divinity, you have people even on that side that will tell you that being the fact that someone may be into the darker path, don't judge because you don't know what it took for that person to get there. So they'll be more open minded. So it's the same thing. It's the same way of thinking. You want to find that balance, and once you do that, then you'll be better off. Okay, but as always, I would say like if you can't really find these products or anyone of these products, see if the products that you find in your local stores or Amazon or whatever, see if it works for you. See what resonates with you. See what catches your eye. If not, keep in mind too that you could always communicate with your spirit guide using telepathy. That means focusing on that the spirit guide within your mind, and I mean really going into like a light trance if you have to, and then communicate with them. Once you do that, you'll be better off. Thanks guys for listening. Have a good one. See ya.